Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and I really hope it's a great course so you can support it with likes and shares. Yeah, thanks a lot. So this video course is called 100 prepositional phrases, so with examples. It's really what you need, and so I'm absolutely sure these examples are extremely useful. Really, it's what you need. And you know, it's also a test for you. So you need to choose, or you need to put the right preposition before a word or a phrase. For example, short. So what prepositional phrase should it be? We say in short. In short, okay? So in short, so this lesson is extremely useful. Okay, in short, this lesson is extremely useful. So you can say in short, or you can also say in brief. It's one more alternative of how you can say it in brief. This lesson is extremely useful. So you can also say shortly, or you can say briefly. So briefly means the same as shortly. So you can also hear, shortly speaking, or briefly speaking, Okay, so these phrases are extremely useful for speaking, really. So you can also hear, so to put it shortly. To put it shortly means to say it shortly. So, or you can say, so to put it briefly. To put it briefly. To put it briefly. So you can also meet I'll be short, or I'll be brief. I'll be brief. Okay, my friend, if you really want to master your speaking skills, you need to start using these phrases. Really, they are necessary. I'm absolutely sure, okay? So in short, this lesson is extremely useful. So you can also see in brief, shortly, briefly, shortly speaking, briefly speaking, to put it shortly, to put it briefly, I'll be short, so I'll be brief. Next, a business trip. So what preposition should you use? We say on a trip, on a business trip. For example, my partner is on a business trip. My partner is on a business trip. It means that he's away, he went to another city or country on business. Okay, my friends, really very good. Okay, but I believe that we need more space. No problem. Okay, so we have this space, okay? Just, let's revise it shortly. Okay, so in short, and on a business trip. So my partner is on a business trip. Okay, good. Okay, let's speed up. So the intention of. Do you know this prepositional phrase? We say with the intention of. And I can tell you that I created this channel with the intention of helping English learners around the world. I created this English channel with the intention of helping English learners around the world. It means that it was my intention. In other words, I intended, right? I intended to do it, or I wanted to do it. Okay? With intention of. I created this channel with the intention of helping English learners around the world. Okay, oneself. So we say by oneself. For example, by myself. So I'm sure I can learn English by myself. I'm sure I can learn English. I can learn English by myself. We say by myself or on my own. On my own, it means without other people's help. So without other people's help. I mean without taking lessons or paying money, okay? Without other people's help, okay? The same time. Okay, at the same time. For example, you can say that learning English is difficult sometimes. At the same time, I perfectly understand, so I really need this language. Okay? So, learning English is difficult. Sometimes. At the same time, yeah, a very nice phrase. I perfectly understand. Understand. I really need this language. I really need this language. Okay, very good, my friend. So, at the same time, you see, good. Okay, so you see, with intention of, I created this English channel with intention of helping English learners around the world. So I intended to do it. By myself, I'm sure I can learn English by myself or on my own without other people's help. At the same time, learning English is difficult sometimes. At the same time, I perfectly understand I really need this language. Success, so you can see with success or without success. For example, he tried to persuade her without success. Or but without success. He tried to persuade her, but without success. It means that he tried to make her do something but unsuccessfully. So without success means unsuccessfully. Okay, last. So we say at last. At last. Okay? So for example, I finished watching your video at last. I finished watching your video at last. At last means that so it happened and I'm so happy. So maybe this video was long. For example, you know that we have a video 250 phrasal verbs, so this video is quite long. So anyway, you can say I finished watching your video at last. So and you're so happy that it happened. Okay, so conclusion. So we say in conclusion. For example, in conclusion. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you. So in conclusion or in the end, or we also see this phrase sometimes to sum up, or all in all, I'd like to thank you. Okay, so air, we say by air. So if we are talking about prepositions without articles, by air. And I have a question for you, my friends. Do you often travel by air? Do you often travel by air? Do you often travel by air? Okay, so next you see arrest. So we say under arrest. So he was under arrest. It means that he was arrested. He was under arrest. So without success, he tried to persuade her, but without success or unsuccessfully. At last, I finished watching your video at last. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you. To sum up, or all in all, by air. Do you often travel by air? Under arrest. He was under arrest. Hand. So we say at hand. For example, I can tell you. So the pen is at hand. So you see, so the pen, it's near. So it's at hand. It's near. The pen is at hand. It means near. So pressure. So you can say that my boss is under pressure. My boss is under pressure. So he is in trouble. He experiences some problems. So my boss is under pressure. So maybe he has a debt. He has a debt, maybe. Yeah, debt. So maybe it's because of competitors. Because of competitors. So some problems, some difficulties. So it may be a serious trouble. Okay, any rate. Okay. I'll continue doing it at any rate. I'll continue doing it at, right? So we say under pressure, at any rate. So we say at any rate, or in any case. In any case. It means that anyway. It means anyway. So I'll continue doing it. Okay. Maybe other people will tell me, okay, stop doing it. Okay, that's enough. So don't do it. But I'll continue to do it anyway. So despite other people's words, phrases, so whatever. So I'll continue to do it at any rate, in any case. So it's my decision, and no one will influence it. Mistake. So we say by mistake. I called her by mistake. I called her by mistake. By mistake, or we can also meet by accident. By accident, or accidentally. Accidentally. I didn't want to do it, yeah? I wasn't going to do it, so it was my mistake. Suspicion. So we say under suspicion. Under suspicion. So the man was under suspicion. The man was under suspicion. So others or other people suspected. Other people suspected him. It means that other people thought that he did something bad, he did something wrongly, so maybe he committed a crime, maybe he is a criminal, so under suspicion, yeah? It means that there is something wrong with this person, but we need to prove it. Okay, so at hand, the pen is at hand. Under pressure. My boss is under pressure, so maybe because he has a debt or because of competitors. At any rate. I'll continue doing it at any rate, or in any case anyway. By mistake. I called her by mistake, or by accident, or accidentally. Under suspicion. So the man was under suspicion, so other people suspected him. Okay. Next, work. So we say at work. So my father is at work. My father is at work. It means he isn't at home. At diet. So we say on a diet. Would you like to go on a diet? Would you like to go on a diet? It means, so would you like to lose weight? So, and eat, so maybe less, or maybe eat only special food, and so on. Comparison with. So we say in comparison with or in comparison to. It's also possible. So, for example, you can see that this movie is very funny in comparison with that one. This movie is very funny in comparison with that one. This movie is very funny in comparison with that one. The bottom of. We say at the bottom of. So you can see it at the bottom of the page. You can see it at the bottom of the page, or you can see it at the bottom of the slide. Okay, can you see it? Okay, paper. On paper. So I want to have it on paper. I want to have it on paper. It means not only words, but on paper. So you need a document. At work. My father is at work. On a diet. Would you like to go on a diet? Or would you like to lose weight? In comparison with or in comparison to. This movie is very funny in comparison with that one. At the bottom of. You can see it at the bottom of the page or at the bottom of the slide. On paper. I want to have it on paper. So not only words. Right, so you see, we say out of curiosity. I asked him that question out of curiosity. I asked him that question out of curiosity, or because I was curious. Because I was curious. I really wanted to know it. It was so interesting for me. The brink of, we say on the brink of. So she was on the brink of despair. She was on the brink of. On the brink of despair. So despair means actually tragedy or something really bad. She was on the brink of. She was almost in despair. She was almost in this condition. She was almost in a very big trouble. We say on the brink of or on the verge of. By heart. I need to learn these prepositions by heart. I need to learn these prepositions by heart. I need to learn these prepositions by heart. Or I need to memorize them. I need to memorize them. I need to know everything. So I need to have it in my mind, in my memory. A journey. So we say on a journey. On a journey. So I was on a journey. I was on a journey. Or I was on a trip. Or I was away. I was away. Stress. So he is often under stress. He is often under stress. It means that he often feels stressful. He often feels stressful, okay? So out of curiosity. I asked him that question out of curiosity, so I was curious. On the brink of, on the verge of. She was on the brink of despair. By heart. I need to learn these prepositions by heart. I need to memorize them. On a journey. I was on a journey. I was away. Under stress. He is often under stress. He often feels stressful. Off order. For example, I say, so the machine is out of order. If I say so, out of order, it means it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The radio, so we say on the radio. Do you like? We say listening to the radio, or I heard it on the radio. I heard it on the radio. So I hope you remember that we say on the radio, but on TV without a preposition, so you don't need a preposition here. See, so we can say by sea. So do you like traveling by sea? Do you like traveling by sea? The moment. At the moment. So I'm very busy at the moment. I'm very busy at the moment. Or now, I'm very busy now. I'm very busy at the moment. Of pity. It's like out of curiosity. Out of pity. So he gave her some money out of pity. Out of pity. Or he gave her some money out of pity. She was so poor. She was so poor. So out of pity, it means that so he felt pity. He felt pity. So he thought, oh, what a terrible situation. So what a poor person. I need to help this person. And he did it out of pity. As you see, my friend, right? Okay, so you see out of order. The machine is out of order, so it doesn't work. On the radio. I heard it on the radio or on TV. By sea. Do you like traveling by sea? At the moment. I'm very busy at the moment. Out of pity. He gave her some money out of pity. She was so poor, so he felt pity. Land. So we say by land. Do you like traveling by land? Or how often do you travel by land? How often do you travel by land? Terms of. In terms of. What can you say in terms of so this problem? What can you say in terms of this problem? So in terms of means concerning. What can you say concerning this problem, or what can you say about this problem? A certain extent. We say to a certain extent. I agree with you to a certain extent. I agree with you to a certain extent, or partly. I partly agree with you to a certain extent, so partly, not absolutely. The verge of, yeah, we've already talked about it, so we say on the verge of, on the verge of. So he was on the verge of that condition, for example, on the verge of despair, or on the brink of, or on the verge of despair. Spring. In spring, So we usually go there in spring. We usually go there in spring or when spring comes. We usually go there in spring, we usually go there when spring comes. By land. How often do you travel by land? In terms of. What can you say in terms of this problem concerning it? To a certain extent. I agree with you, to a certain extent, or partly. On the verge, or on the brink of. He was on the verge of that condition. Or on the brink of that condition. In spring, we usually go there in spring, so when spring comes. So we also say in summer. So where do you usually go in summer? Where do you usually go in summer? Or where do you usually go when summer comes? Okay, first, we say at first. So at first, I'd like to say the following. I'd like to say the following, or I'd like to say this thing. Fire. We say on fire. The building was on fire. So it was burning. Stake. We say at stake. So too much was at stake. Too much was at stake, or too much was at risk. So we could lose a lot. Least. So at least. For example, I often hear these kind of things. So I'd like to earn, or I'd like to get at least, for example, $2,000 monthly or every month. So I'd like to earn at least $2,000 monthly. At least means minimum. So minimum, this sum of money. Okay. So in summer, where did you go in summer? At first, I'd like to say the following. Okay, on fire, the building was on fire, so it was burning. At stake, too much was at stake or at risk. At least, I'd like to earn, or I'd like to get at least $2,000 monthly, so minimum, this sum of money. Breath. Out of breath. So she was out of breath. Out of breath. So it was difficult for her to breathe. No circumstances. Under. For example, under. Under no circumstances will I sign this document. Under no circumstances will I sign this document. Under no circumstances. So we often use inversion with this phrase. Under no circumstances will I sign this document. A certain degree. So we say to a certain degree or to a certain extent. So I believe him. I believe him to a certain degree. To a certain degree or to a certain extent. So not fully, not absolutely, so partly. On strike. On strike. So the workers went on strike. The workers went on strike. So they didn't want to continue working, so they stopped working. They didn't want to continue working, they stopped working, so there was a problem and they wanted to let their boss know about this problem. All costs. At all costs. He was trying to do it at all costs. He was trying to do it at all costs. So he was really trying to do it. And so maybe there were different problems or different things on his way that he was trying to do it at all costs. So it was really so important that he really wanted to do it and to finish doing it at all costs, no matter what was on his way. No matter what was on his way, okay? So out of breath. She was out of breath. Under no circumstances. Under no circumstances will I sign this document. So inversion. To a certain degree or to a certain extent, I believe him to a certain degree. On strike. The workers went on strike. At all costs. He was trying to do it at all costs, so no matter what was on his way. So in autumn, it usually rains a lot in autumn. It usually rains a lot in autumn, or when autumn comes. Brief. We say in brief. So in brief, it was a big success. So we talked about it. So in brief or in short or shortly. Okay, really, in brief it was a big success. Next, noon. We say at noon or at midday. So she got up at noon. Really, so late, or at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, but we usually say at noon or at midday, yeah? Good, so good terms. We say on good terms or on bad terms. I'm on good terms with my neighbors. I'm on good terms with my neighbors. With my neighbors. It means we have good relations. We have good relations. Okay? I'm on good terms with my neighbors. We have good relations. Of stock. Out of stock. For example, these goods are out of stock. These goods are out of stock. So you can't buy it. You can't buy it, so they aren't available. They aren't available or not available, so you can't buy it. Okay, in autumn, it usually rains a lot in autumn. In brief, it was a big success. At noon, at midday, so she got up at noon, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So on good terms, on bad terms. I'm on good terms with my neighbors. So we have good relations. Out of stock. These goods are out of stock, so they aren't available. Addition to, say in addition to. So in addition to it, I'd like to add one thing. Or in addition to it, it can be a serious threat. It can be a serious threat. So I'd like to add. I'd like to add it. In addition to it, okay, it can be a serious threat, it can be a serious problem. So in winter, do you often go skiing in winter? Do you often go skiing in winter? A good mood. So we say in a good mood. or in a bad mood. My friends, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood, really. I want to smile. It means I feel happy. I feel happy, not well. I feel happy. Okay, sorry for my so awful typing skills. So I feel happy anyway. So because I feel that anyway this video is really useful. Okay, I'm in a good mood. I feel happy. Midnight. I say at midnight. I went to bed at midnight. I went to bed at midnight. Or at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock in the evening. At 12 o'clock in the evening. I went to bed at midnight. The end of. At the end of. So you'll hear at the end of the video. You'll hear it. You'll hear it at the end of the video. So we say in the end, in the beginning, but if we have of, we use at. So at the end of something, at the beginning of something. In addition to it, it can be a serious threat, so I'd like to add it. In winter. Do you often go skiing in winter? In a good mood, in a bad mood? I'm in a good mood. I feel happy. So at midnight, I went to bed at midnight, so at 12 o'clock in the evening. Okay, at the end of, you'll hear it at the end of the video. Due course. So in due course, it's similar to anyway, in any case, or at any rate. So the main difference is that this phrase or this expression is more formal. So we'll discuss it in due course. We'll discuss it in due course. The whole. On the whole. So on the whole, these lessons are quite useful. These lessons are quite useful. So on the whole means in general. In general or generally. Generally, these videos are, or these lessons are quite useful. The phone. On the phone. So, do you often talk on the phone with your friends? Do you often talk on the phone with your friends? Or do you often talk on the phone? Vain. So, we say in vain, it means without success. Without success. Okay, so for example, I tried to pass the test, but it was in vain. I tried to pass the test, but it was in vain, or it was without success. Other words. In other words. Okay, I can say, in other words, I failed it. In other words, I failed it. Okay, so in due course, anyway, in any case, at any rate. We'll discuss it in due course. On the whole. On the whole, these lessons are quite useful. In general, generally. On the phone. Do you often talk on the phone with your friends? In vain. Without success. I tried to pass the test, but it was in vain. In other words, I failed it, really, what a pity. Off control. We say out of control. So we had that situation out of control. we had that situation out of control. So I couldn't control it anymore or any longer. University. At university. My brother is at university. My brother is at university. Search of. Right. So we say in search of. He was in search of his second half. He was in search of his second half. It means his future wife. His future wife. Okay? In search of. Vacation. So we say on vacation or on holiday. I was on vacation last week. I was on vacation last week. The way. Okay, say by the way. So, okay, I like English. I like English. Then I can continue. By the way, it is my main hobby. By the way, it isn't my main hobby. It means that, so we use this, expression when we want to change the subject or when we want to add something. By the way, so I like English, by the way, it isn't my main hobby. Out of control. We had that situation out of control. At university. My brother is at university. In search of. He was, right. He was in search of his second half. And you see that search is a noun here. But if it's a verb, we say search for or look for. You need to remember it. But if it's a noun, we say in search of. So it's another thing. So on vacation, on holiday. I was on vacation last week. By the way, I like English. By the way, it isn't my main hobby. Pension. On pension. So my mother is on pension. My mother is on pension. So in other words, she is a pensioner. She is a pensioner. My mother is on pension. Midday. We talked about it. Say at midday. Yeah, at midday. So it happened. It happened at midday, or it happened at noon. So in other words, it's at 12 o'clock. Accident. Okay, so we say by accident. I met my classmate there by accident. I met my classmate there by accident or accidentally. I wasn't going to meet him. Holiday. So we say on holiday or on vacation. When will you go on holiday? When will you go on holiday? Practice. So we say in practice. I doubt it works in practice. I doubt it works in practice, or it works in reality. I doubt, so I don't think that it really works. Okay? On pension. My mother is on pension. She is a pensioner. At midday. It happened at midday, at noon. By accident. I met my classmate there by accident. On holiday. When will you go on holiday? In practice. I doubt it works in practice. The top of. Let's say at the top of. So you can see it at the top of the page. You can see it at the top of the page. So risk. We say at risk, at stake. So his life was at risk. His life was at risk. So there was a very dangerous situation, so he risked his life. A cruise, on a cruise. So my friend is on a cruise. It's like on a trip, yeah, it's like on a journey. So he went somewhere by sea. School, at school. My sister is at school. My sister, okay, my sister is at school. My sister is at school. A regular basis. On a regular basis. If you really want to succeed in English, you need to learn it on a regular basis. If you really want to succeed in English, you need to learn it on a regular basis, or you need to learn it regularly, or if you want to be successful in English, okay? At the top of, you can see it at the top of the page. At risk. His life was at risk. On a cruise. My friend is on a cruise. At school. My sister is at school. On a regular basis. If you really want to succeed in English, you need to learn it on a regular basis. In detail. He explained it in detail. He explained it in detail. In detail means giving a lot of details. Given a lot of, or given lots of. Given lots of details. The beginning, so we say in the beginning, so in the end, but at the beginning of something, at the end of something. So in the beginning, I'd like to thank you, my friends. In the beginning, I'd like to thank you, my friends. The help of, with the help of. Okay, so, for example, I learn English with the help of this channel. I learn English with the help of this channel. I learn English with the help of the channel. So we can say at the weekend or on the weekend. So it's also possible. Okay, let's meet at the weekend. Let's meet at the weekend. Theory. Say in theory. It works only in theory. It works only in theory, but not in practice. It works only in theory, but not in practice. In detail. He explained it in detail, so giving lots of details. In the beginning, in the end. So in the beginning, I'd like to thank you. Right, in the beginning, in the end. With the help of, I learn English with the help of the channel. On the weekend, let's meet at the weekend. In theory, so it works only in theory, but not in practice. So, bad terms, we talked about it, so on good terms or on bad terms. So, he is on bad terms with his neighbors. He is on bad terms with his neighbors. By chance, I met her by chance, or I met her accidentally. Fact. In fact. You might think it's right. In fact, it isn't so. You might think it's right, or it's the right decision. In fact, it isn't so, or in reality, it isn't so. A hurry, In a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I have no time. I have no time, so I'm very busy. I'm in a hurry. The end. In the end. So I'll tell you something in the end. I'll tell you something in the end. I'll tell you something in the end. Okay? So on bad terms, he is on bad terms with his neighbors. By chance. I met her by chance. In fact, you might think it's the right decision. In fact, it isn't so. Or in reality. In a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I have no time. In the end. I'll tell you something in the end. So we say at the beginning of. So I met it at the beginning of the book. I met it at the beginning of the book. So we say at the beginning of, at the end of, a trip, on a trip. So I was on a business trip, or I was on a trip. I was on a trip. I was on a trip, so I was traveling. So somewhere. Love. In love. They are in love. They are in love. It means they love each other. They are in love, they love each other. The out of date. Out of date. So this information is out of date. Out of date, it means not relevant. Not relevant. So the modern situation is different, isn't good enough. So a lot has changed since that time, and we can't trust this information, we can't rely on it. Doubt. In doubt. So I'm in doubt. I'm in doubt. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So it's difficult for me to take a decision at present or now. So at the beginning of, good. On a trip. I was on a trip. In love. They are in love. They love each other. Out of date. This information is out of date, so not relevant. In doubt. I'm in doubt. My surprise. So to my surprise. So it means that I was surprised, or I'm surprised. To my surprise, he won. So I was really surprised, or I'm really surprised. Foot. On foot. Do you go to work, or do you get to work on foot? Do you get to work on foot? So on foot means with your legs. With your legs. Reality. In reality. In reality. In reality. So the situation is completely different. The situation is completely different. So in situation, or in our real life. In our real life, the situation is completely different. A bad mood. He is in a bad mood. He is in a bad mood. Don't disturb him. Don't disturb him. It means that he needs some time to calm down, or he needs some time to cool down. General. In general. In general, these lessons are very effective. We talked about it. In general, these lessons are very effective. Or generally, on the whole, these lessons are very effective. Okay, so to my surprise, he won. On foot. Do you get to work on foot? In reality, the situation is completely different. So in our real life, a bad mood. So we say in a bad mood, in a good mood. So he is in a bad mood. Don't disturb him. In general, these lessons are very effective. Okay, first sight. For example, I have a question for you. Do you believe in love at first sight? Love at first sight. When you see another person and you instantly like him or her. Average. On average. So on average, my grade was B. My grade was B. So it means that I have A's, I have B's, I have C's, but on average, so I mostly had B's, maybe A's and C's, but on average it was B. So if we calculate it, advance, in advance. Okay, my friends, thanks in advance. Thanks in advance. So I'd like to thank you in advance for everything. So in advance it means beforehand. Construction, under construction. So this website or this page is under construction. So it doesn't work. So there is a problem with this page, or there is a problem with this, website. Case, in any case, my friend, so learning English is difficult sometimes. In any case, continue and you'll do your best, okay? Learning English is difficult. Learning English is difficult sometimes. So in any case, so in any situation, in any case, continue and do your best. And do your best means show the best results possible, okay? At first sight, do you believe in love at first sight? On average, my grade was B, so A, B, C. So in advance, thanks in advance. Under construction. So this website is under construction. In any case, learning English is difficult sometimes, and in any case, so continue and do your best. And our life is also difficult sometimes, so in any case, try to be positive, try to be optimistic, and try to be in a good mood. So really, life goes on, as they say. Okay, my friends, thank you very much. I really hope that it was a fantastic idea to record this video course, 100 prepositional phrases with explanations, with examples, especially for you. I try to do my best, and I wish you good luck, my friends. Thank you. Bye.